Welcome to The Explainer. Today we're diving into Arundhati Roy's incredible novel, The Ministry of Utmost Happiness. And it's a book that asks a massive question, one we all probably think about. In a world that so often feels broken, how on earth do you even begin to put things back together?
Right from the start, the book throws this challenge at us. And this isn't just some poetic opening line, it's the actual blueprint for the entire story. Roy tells a story that is shattered, mirroring the fractured world and the broken lives of the people in it. It's all built from these tiny, scattered fragments. So, to really understand this search for hope, we have to start with the brokenness itself. We need to take a look at the world, or the dunya, as it's called, that these characters are trying to survive in. And that's a modern India full of contradictions.
What Roy shows us is a pretty brutal picture of so-called progress. You've got these shiny new cities popping up, but the rivers are so polluted that they're literally being bottled and sold back to people. Mountains are being hollowed out for weapons, and even nature's own cleanup crew, the vultures, are dying off. It's a world where development often just means someone, somewhere, is losing their home or their way of life.
And as if that wasn't enough, layered on top of all of that environmental damage is this constant buzzing backdrop of human conflict. The book doesn't pull any punches. It dives right into the political violence in places like Kashmir, the government corruption, and all the deep-seated divisions, religion, caste, the whole shebang. This is the chaotic, real world that our characters have to navigate every single day.
Okay, so you've got all this chaos, right? But then, right in the middle of it, the novel gives us something totally different, a completely radical idea. It shows us a paradise, a Jannat, that springs up in the most unlikely place you could ever imagine, a graveyard. A place of death that's been reborn as a sanctuary for life.
And this contrast, it's everything. It's the core of the novel. On one hand, you have the official world, the dunya, with all its violence and alienation. And on the other, you have Jannat, this little bubble of harmony that's literally built on illegally grabbed land in a cemetery. It's such a powerful act of defiance, taking a space for the dead and making it a space for the living.
So, who lives in this makeshift paradise? Well, that's the whole point. What makes it a paradise isn't money or power, it's radical, absolute inclusivity. It's founded by Anjum, an intersex woman, and it becomes a home for anybody who doesn't quite fit into society's neat little boxes. All the lines and divisions of the outside world, they just disappear here. And it's not just for people. Birds, insects, even cows that wander in find a safe space. Everyone and everything belong.
This phrase pops up in the novel, chanted by protesters, and it is the perfect motto for the Jannat guest house. It's not just a nice-sounding slogan. It's a living, breathing demonstration that yes, a different, more compassionate way of life is possible. You can build it yourself, from the ground up, right in the middle of all the mess.
Now, this idea of building hope from the ground up, we also see it reflected in a really powerful symbol of individual survival. The novel shows us that resilience isn't always some big, heroic act. Sometimes it's found in the smallest, most overlooked, most persistent things.
The book takes all these huge ideas, hope, survival, building a new world, and grounds them in one of the smallest, most humble creatures you can think of. It's a symbol that perfectly mirrors the spirit of everyone living in Jannat. It's the dung beetle, yeah. Now just think about that metaphor for a second. This creature literally builds its life, its future, from waste. From what everyone else has thrown away as worthless. It takes the filth of the world and transforms it into the very thing that fuels its journey forward. That's the definition of resilience right there. Not avoiding the bad stuff, but finding a way to transform.
And that connects so perfectly back to Jannat, doesn't it? Just like the community of outcasts building a paradise in a graveyard, the dung beetle shows us that real hope, a real future, can come from the people and the places that society has decided are unclean, unimportant, or just plain worthless. The future is found in what we forgot.
So, let's pull this all together. We've got a paradise in a graveyard and a remarkably resilient beetle. What's the big takeaway here? What is this novel really trying to tell us about finding hope in a broken world?
It's almost like the novel gives us a kind of recipe for hope. And it's not about just sitting around wishing things were better. It's an active, three-step process. First, you have to embrace the fact that the world is broken. Just accept it. Then, step 2, instead of giving up, you build something new in the cracks. You create these radically inclusive spaces, like Jannat. And finally, you find your strength in the small, persistent efforts. You just keep rolling forward, like that dung beetle.
In the end, Roy leaves us with this really powerful question. She's pushing us to think about what utmost happiness actually means. Are we going to find it in the big, official world, chasing power and so-called progress? Or does it maybe lie in the small, quiet, forgotten spaces where we build compassionate, inclusive worlds for each other out of all the broken pieces we can find?